And welcome back, everybody. Thanks for continuing with us. Mike Bozak's our guest, and here on CNYHomepage.com. And we're going to have a few more questions for Mike. Mike, the Mohawk story, you look back at it and you just wonder what could have been done, to save Mohawk. I talked to a lawyer for Mohawk years ago. He's long gone now. But he said that he thought he had a deal reached with the pilots to settle that strike. And here he is. He's a negotiator, and he called Bob Peach from the negotiating room and said, I think we got a deal, and this is this, and this is this. And Bob Peach said, no, I won't accept that. Mm-hmm. And so the strike continued on, and that's, of course, what broke the back of the airline.
And I think that's true. I think that's very true. It's sad. Again, he was a very difficult, a very tough negotiator, and he was able to convince, as I say, the Civil Aeronautics Board for routes that, you wouldn't normally get.
Yeah.
He was phenomenally successful there, but also that stubbornness was a problem when it came to labor negotiations.
Things. Yeah. The story of Mohawk, he wrote, or I forget who wrote it. Maybe it wasn't.
He did.
Did he write
about four-seaters to fan jets? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's
it's
a
small
classic.
booklet. Yes, it is. It's a small booklet. It was actually a presentation that he gave in 1964 when things were really looking rosy, just before the jets showed up. Mm-hmm. And he talked about the meteoric rise. And the story is it's fascinating.
Yeah.
It's really fascinating.
What got you interested in Mohawk, Mike?
I've always been, before I was interested in trains, I was interested in planes.
Yeah.
And I used to have my father, who's now no longer with us, I would have him drag him up to the airport, Oneida County Airport, on a Sunday after church, and we would hope to see planes. And,
you probably stood behind that fence like I did. And
certainly
watched.
did.
Yeah.
Certainly did.
You mentioned trains. Let's talk about trains a little bit. Union Station, a classic landmark of our area.
Is.
What was it? 1913 or 1901? I never can remember.
1914 is when it opened up. It opened up May 1st of 1914, and a huge station for Utica because it was meant to be basically a junction point. There were 3 divisions along New York State, and New York Central wanted to convert to 2, and Utica was going to be the midpoint. Mm-hmm. So they built this huge station that under New York Central was never fully occupied. They rented out a lot of space to Brockway trucks and to other small businesses and all that, but they didn't occupy the entire building with New York Central employees.
And Union Station, of course, doesn't have anything to do with labor terms. It was because that's where railroads came together.
But the labor had a lot to say about it, and that's why they didn't go to the 2 divisions. Yeah. They stayed the 3 divisions, and therefore Union Station was never completely occupied.
One of the things that I has been happy to see is Oneida County Executive Anthony Pacente bring back that Rea Wing.
Yes. That's always been in the back of our minds that needed to be, because of its historic nature, it always needed to be renovated. Now, it's a difficult building to renovate and reuse because it's very long and very narrow. Yeah. And in the middle, well, not quite the middle, actually, about 2/3 of the way in from the north, there's a rise. That was where trains would come in with express, which would be, smaller items. You think of Parcel or United UPS or FedEx. That was all done by train. So that would come into the Union Station on the north side, and then on the south side, there would be trucks that would be loaded and distributed throughout, meat, poultry. You'd have newspapers and everything else in between.
Yeah, I tell people that the REA, Railroad Express, really was the forerunner of UPS
it certainly
and FedEx.
Was. Oh, yeah.
And we had a big operation going on in Utica. But anyway, it's good to see the county using that building. For years, it was just being run down and nothing was being used there. So that's good.
It is good. It is good.
And of course, Union Station itself, we only got about 30 seconds here, but Union Station itself came close to the Wrecker's Ball.
It did, if not for Landmarks. Landmarks stepped up to the plate and was actually formed to deal with the threat to Union Station. So thank goodness that people of vision prevailed and we were able to save it.
And I remember Assemblyman Nicholas Calogero.
He was crucial.
He was crucial to that whole thing. Had it not been for him, I'm not sure we'd have that great building.
Very true.
And there's a lot of offices down there now, which is helpful to get bodies into that building.
Yes, the county's been very good. They've got it completely filled, which is great.
It's always good to see you.
Good to see you too, Joe.
Thanks for sticking around for this extra part. Don't forget, you can join us next week, and until then, take care of yourself, everybody.